Namaskar, Minecraft fans, it's Collins, and we're back in Feed the Beast Ultimate Pack. Rocking the bees and Greg Tech and all sorts of crazy stuff. So let's take a look and see what we've been doing. You know what? I got a bunch of stuff in the end zone chest here. So this is the chest where everything in the sorting system gets dumped into if it doesn't have a place to go. I think I have a bunch of these set up for Greg Tech stuff. We'll look at that in a little bit. We're going to play with bees. You know, this is tin and copper. I got like tin bee up in the big alveary and tin bee in a little apiary. Still not producing enough tin. I actually had it making tin cans. So this thing here is set up for autocrafting the empty cells. And left it on and made too many. And so yeah, I used up all my tin. But we got a bunch of bees over here. I had a breeding apiary, alveary over here, big huge one, and I moved it downstairs, and then I played with some bees. I've been getting a bunch of this silky propolis, and I got alveary blocks all over the place. It's awesome. So silky propolis, you make this silky string. This stuff, silky wisps, and you put 9 of them in a carpenter with water, and you get these little silky mesh things, and then you can make your armor for apiarists, your apiarist clothes. And what I did is I have a marshy bee. I think it's marshy. Now I'm gonna have to look. And of course, it's a tropical bee. So tropical bees are bred in the jungle. I haven't been breeding tropical bees before because I have a savanna and extreme hills, and they wouldn't grow in there, and they also have a poison effect, but I switched the poison effect out. So right now, we're getting regeneration. I switched it out. And I had a whole bunch of bees that I bred by hand and just randomly floated around for and tried to get industrious and all sorts of kinds. Let's see, what did we get? Imperials. I tried to get Imperials, and I crossbred a whole bunch of Nobles and Majestics and cultivated and tried really hard and finally got an Imperial. But the Imperials that I had did not have that effect where you get regeneration. So I purebred and used my alveary, and I had mutator blocks and some soul frames and got it to mutate and gave me a proper Imperial bee, and then I stuck him in a little isolator and pulled the actual benefit out of them. These guys are, weird climates and stuff that I haven't bothered breeding yet. But I do have a couple that I went out and found. So we have some ender bees, and those come from the end, and some embittered ones, and these come from the nether. And then I have a Valiant and a Steadfast, which will apparently make a heroic, but you can only do it in a forest, and we're not in a forest. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our whole apiary suit, and I just threw random 30 enchants on these, and we're going to go downstairs. So I got my little mutator thing, I moved it down here. My mutator alveary, we got chocolate frames so they die really quick, and then the mutators in here, what we'll put in there is, I was doing it with the Eyes of Ender, because I have tons of Ender Pearls, in case you haven't seen the previous episodes, but we're going to try this with uranium, and I think we need to grab some uranium first. And all this stuff is chugging along over here, all this Greg Tech down here. And why I had this box, we were going to take this with us, but I don't think we need to. So really all we need is some uranium, because I got all the alvearies that I need for this belt. And there's one thing over here real quick with the Greg Tech. So you can industrial grind with water, which is what these two industrial grinders are doing. So these have water with an aqueous accumulator. This one is set up only for netherrack. And the way I did this is the netherrack just goes into extra dimensional barrel. That way I don't have to worry about overflow, and then as it's needed, it pulls it out of the extra dimensional barrel. And then this one over here is just for the other types of ores that use water. And then some of the ores get a bonus if you use mercury cells, so I have a bunch of ores piped into there, and then I shoot, that's not beelizer, I shoot mercury cells off to the side when I get them into the system. And what I was doing before was I was shooting mercury cells over here to this liquid transposer and sticking them in a tank, and I got a whole bunch of liquid mercury in here. You can't pump liquid mercury directly into an industrial grinder because Greg Tech bites. So I stopped doing that, and now I just got the little canisters going in there. But that's that. And then also I have some extra stuff that we made. We made semi-fluid generators, and I'm using sodium cells because I get those as a byproduct, and lithium cells, and they're just charging up a little MFE, and they're also kind of charging these MFSUs up, but the steam boilers are doing a pretty good job of that. And I had the solid fuel off, but it's firing back up because I moved it again. But these things are all charged up, and they're producing tons of power. And for extra power, we got these semi-fluid generators. They're really slow, but they work. And I have a whole bunch of don't fall. I have a whole bunch of this sodium. Yeah, tons of sodium. I have some of the other stuff in here. I got a little bit of lithium, but I got a lot more of the sodium. So we're just letting that do its thing. It's kind of slow, and I think once this catches up to all the extra stuff I have, it'll keep up pretty good. And it's pretty simple. It goes, there's an ender tank or ender chest tied to the sorting system, and that's this one. It's tied to the sorting system up there, and it just shoots the cells off, and they go on either side, and then empty cells go in here. And I had this funky thing because I couldn't get Greg Tech to do, surprise, I couldn't get Greg Tech to work right. So this industrial electrolyzer, I couldn't get it because you can't ask when the cells are empty, because they it needs like 4 cells or something, or 8 cells depending on what it's trying to make. So I pretty much just have a continuous stream of cells going in a loop here. It doesn't seem to be too bad. And actually all of the crazy pipe stuff I've got going on all throughout the base is actually pretty mellow, and I think it's very little lag that it causes. And I think what's going on is it's because I have stuck everything within the dimensions of this world anchor, and all these chunks are all loaded. So when stuff goes through pipes in my system, it doesn't have to load and unload chunks and orphan chunks and stuff like that. It just sends them all through all loaded chunks. So I think that is why we have very little lag, because we got a lot of pipes jumping all over the place. But it seems to work out pretty good. We don't have a whole lot of crazy stuff going on. So I got a bunch of linking books. These are Mistcraft, the same Mistcraft we did, jumped through some worlds in the last episode. But you just make these linking books. You just throw a book in your crafting window or in a crafting table, and then that's a book back to where you're at. And we got a couple, so let's go to the Nether. And underneath the ground, or up in the ceiling in the Nether, and this is pretty far off from where I came from, I got an alveary, and there's that hellish arid conditions down here. We got some light, and I didn't need a rain shield because it's not going to rain down here. I got chocolate frames to make things happen, to make the queens die faster. And we're going to stick some uranium in here. Actually, we don't want uranium in here, because the first thing we want is some purebred drones. So what that gas won't get me. So what I've done is I got these embittered princesses, which come from the Nether, and the only thing I did is I added fertility to them. And we don't like this aggressiveness trait, but we want to steal it off of them, and we want this flowers Nether too, just to have all the stuff. I think I put nocturnal and cave on these, and the tolerances. The end bees. Where's the end bees? I didn't do much to these guys. I didn't do the tolerances, but we're going to breed these guys in the end also. But they have this area, and we want the area, and this ends effect is supposed to be really nasty. So this effect, aggressiveness, apparently does a lot of damage. So we're going to take off all of our clothes, put on our full apiary suit, and we don't need mutators. We're just going to throw some bees in here, and the important thing that we did with these bees is fertility 4, so we get some drones that we can extract these traits from. So we just pop those in there, make a queen, and then the queen should go whoop, whoop, whoop really quick because we got chocolate frames in here. And you can see it's doing its thing, there's no complaints. And then I threw some extra stuff in here just in case I breed other bees that need to be bred in here. So we got flowers, and the fern actually is jungle, and then rock for my rockies. And I tried to put water in here, but I put an ice block in here, but it melted and disappeared. It didn't actually turn into ice. I didn't think it would. I know it's been patched out. But we got these guys doing their thing, and now you're complaining about no flowers. Silly me. Nether bees want netherwort flowers. So, are you going to go now? Do I got to pull you out and put you back in? You going to figure it out? Wait for it. Wait for it. Alright. If that doesn't work, you just do that. Got little bee animations going. There we go. Yep, and the bar should shrink pretty fast. They make these simmering combs. That's pretty cool. So really all we're doing with this is we're getting some drones. Let's go ahead and go to the end. Oh, that was a weird little teleport. And I got the same setup over here. But I know the end bees need something different. They need... I'm just going to put all my stuff on, because we're going to go out here real quick. So this is right underneath my exit portal over there, and I set this up exposed to the surface. I don't know if you need it or not, but yeah, we got that little setup. But I know what the end bees need. They need this, the dragon egg. So I got a little contraption set up here. Here's a block breaker, and it's just hooked up with a chest behind it. And I believe if I just toggle this, I got some dirt down here for safety. If I toggle this, he grabbed that and it went into the chest. So that's exactly what I need, and I'll rip all this stuff out later. I just wanted to show you guys how I did that. It's pretty easy. So dragon egg, we need someplace to put a dragon egg. Let's just stick it right there. And we gotta be careful not to touch this bad boy, because it will jump somewhere random. We're not gonna do that. And we're gonna be extra careful to take all of our stuff off and put our apiarist clothes back on, because these end bees, and how did I get you messed up? Ender princess, ender drone. These end bees have the end effect, and apparently the ends effect will kill you very fast. So we're totally going to be protected from these guys before we even try, and we are not going to mutate these. So we're not going to use the uranium in here, but we have frame housings, and I just put all this extra stuff in case we want to crossbreed some stuff in the end, if we need to. Ender Queen, we'll let that do its thing. And then I got one more in the overworld. I got this oak wood to mark my books, and this goes to the forest, which is actually not very far. My base is over there, a couple hundred blocks. I'm going to way back. If you leave these linking books exposed to the sky and it rains, apparently it can wash them out. So I just covered up with the little cover over there. We got a bunch of stuff here too. Mutator blocks, got some chocolate frames, we got a rain shield and lighting out here, so we can do this anytime we want. But supposedly you take a valiant princess and a steadfast drone, you stick them in here in a forest, which, 1, 2, F3, we are in a forest. We'll mutate, so we're going to throw a couple of these in here. And I'll just leave a bunch of these in here because we may use this later on for something else. And then we'll drop our steadfast drone in there. So steadfast and valiant should make a heroic bee, I believe it is. You're almost done. Wait for it. Wait for it. So yeah, I've been totally getting into bees, breeding lots of them. Basically what I do is once I get a species I want, I make sure they're max fertility, breed up a bunch of the drones, and then extract the stuff I need from them, all the cool stuff, and all the bad stuff too. Anything that's different than what I got, I just extract it. And it looks like we got heroics, and these look like they're purebred heroics. So before what I was doing was mutators with Eyes of Ender, and I had like 6 mutators and 3 soul frames. But I think the 3 uranium works better, and I'm not going to do nukes at all. Heroic, long lifespan. They have this heroic effect. So those bred, we have our full APR suit on. Let's go back to the end. And we got more mystery combs, and we're almost done. But I need the ender bees, and I wanted the heroic for the effect. I wanted the ender bees because I want to do some further mutations, and we got our full suit on. Let's go to the nether, which probably also was not a load of junk. Nope, because these are slow workers. So if I crank up the worker, I'll probably get a lot of these simmering and mysterious combs. Let's take a look at these. So the Ender Princess, we want this area, we want the ends effect, and then the flowers ends, and we probably won't use those for anything, but we just want to collect them all. And we don't want the tolerances. So here's another one with the cold tolerance is only plus. So if I used them in the climatizer, it would only go +1, would change to +2, but it would never go to -2. So you have to use that on bees that have both types, and Rockies are perfect for that because they're already both +2. Embittered, so aggressiveness effect, that would hurt us. And nether flowers, that's another funky thing we can do. I wonder if we can use it to actually spread nether wart if we put a bunch of soul sand around. We can find out later. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back. Whoa. And now that we're safe, we can take off our APR's clothes, put on our good clothes, and we're back here where we started. And what we're going to do is extract these traits. So we've got these empty serum vials, and we're going to save 1 drone and throw 3 more in there. And we're going to do the same with that. And we got 2 of these heroics, so let's go ahead and throw 1 of those in there. And we'll just kind of see what we get out of this. And maybe we'll put those back. You know what we'll do with the heroics? We will get our max fertility and pump these guys up. Because we just crossbred to get these, and they have the default, which is 2 drones. But these I already put max fertility on. They have 4 drones. Let's take a look. Yeah, 4 fertility. Now the other thing that I learned with breeding that I learned the hard way, I don't need you in my life. I got you already. The cool thing is I also put this powered furnace in here right next to me, so it uses MJs, and then I just get my files right back if I don't need them. Large territory. Ooh, that's something different. Oh, that's the one we wanted, large territory. So we want slower productivity in there. Large territory we are going to refine by sticking it in a synthesizer, which will give it 16 charges, and then we'll put it in a purifier, which will change it from the quality, average quality it is now, to excellent quality. And you'll see in the synthesizer, as you put more charges in it, the quality actually goes down. So pretty much every time you synthesize, you have to purify. Almost every time. Slower productivity, we don't need you. Yeah, and we're just going to see what kind of traits we get out of here. And then we got a bunch of bee stuff we did. So first of all, I wanted to point out this thing. I made a glacial precipitator, which is a thermal expansion device. You can make ice or snow or snowballs with this, and you just throw some water in here. So I have an aqueous accumulator down here with infinite couple blocks of water, so it produces as much water as I need. And it's set up with redstone signal, so I can flip the switch on, and you'll see ice come out of here. Right? Yeah. So I can make ice whenever I need to. And I've been using that for some of the bee stuff. So what I've been using the ice for was this acclimatizer, which I've actually pulled back off because I haven't been using it for a while, but show you what we did there. So there's certain bees, and this is just an example, a skeletal drone. So this has temperature tolerance and humidity tolerance. But you can see the humidity tolerance only goes up. If I were to do something to try to increase the humidity tolerance, it would only increase it from up 1 to up 2. It wouldn't. I can't make it go up and down. But with this temperature tolerance, since it's already up and down, if I try to make it go up or make it go down, it'll be up and down too. So that's what I've done with the Rocky Bees to kind of make this super bee thing. So this is a normal Rocky Bee, and they have temp tolerance of 2 and humidity tolerance of 2. And I've got a whole stash of bees that I've been working on. These are my super Rockies. So if we look at one of these, they have a temp tolerance of 5, which is the max you can do, and a humidity tolerance of 2. So there's only 3 different humidity climates, only 3 different possibilities. So I set those up with 2. That means they can do it in any, and 5 temperature means they can be in any temperature range. And part of the reason why I did this is if I turn this into like a bee from the nether, then they'll want super hot, and then I would still be able to breed them in the super cold, because I would use just the species trait on this Rocky, and it would give it the climate like hellish, but it would have a 5 temp tolerance, so it would be able to be bred in cold climates. And the same if I did like a wintry, it would be a really cold climate, and +5 means I could breed wintry bees in the nether with this 5 temp tolerance. So that's kind of how I did that. And you do that by just sticking like ice or sand in the climatizer, and so I make ice with the glacial precipitator, and that increases or lowers the temperature. And then for humidity, sand's the easiest thing to come by, and you just macerate cobblestone, and you get all sand you need. So that's what we did there. And I do have vials for those, so I can apply the vials. Temp 3, temp 5, humidity 5, humidity 2. Well, I don't really need them all, but we got the vials for those. And the other thing that I do with the bees, let's take a look at this Rocky again. So this Rocky is like a super Rocky. So I've bred and I've put vials on this Rocky. So now it has the shortest lifespan, which means it breeds really fast. It has the fast production, faster pollination. It requires no flowers at all. Has max fertility, so I get a lot of drones, and it has this explorer effect, which gives me experience. And then it has huge tolerances for climate and humidity, which means I can put this in any biome, and it also works at night, works in the rain, and works underground. So if I put a species trait on this Rocky, it will any species trait will be able to breed it anywhere. And so I have a whole bunch of these. I have a few more on this page. And then over here I have a bunch of Rocky drones that are the same. These ones aren't identified and these ones are, but it's the same thing. And then these are a bunch of mixed bees that I've crossbred. And so one of the ways to make these super drones, once you get them up, is you can either put all the same trait vials on. Like I can go and put max fertility vial, and you stick that in the inoculator over here, and breed up a bunch of bees that way. The other thing I can do is just take a bunch of bees and stick them in the apiary and alveary. So usually what I'll do is I'll take like a bunch of these drones, and I'll grab, let's grab one, tin princess. There we go. So if I stick the Rocky bees and drones in here, like 30 of them, with a tin princess, eventually what they'll do is I don't have chocolate frames, just make them shorten their lifespan. So they're not going to try to crossbreed, and I don't even know if you can crossbreed tin and Rocky. But what'll happen is if I breed this enough times, the tin queen will turn into a Rocky queen with the same traits as my my super bees over there. So that's an easy way to do that. And then what I'll do when I actually set them up is I have a bunch of other vials over here. So once I get the breeding I want, I grab a couple species. So say I wanted a rural, I'll put a couple bees with the rural species, and then I'll change them to normal fertility, which means they only produce 2 drones. And then I will increase the lifespan to the longest. And that means they just spend less time in the pipes and more time producing stuff. And previously I had this elongated lifespan, and apparently, according to the wiki, it's shortest, normal, elongated, longer, and then longest. So elongated is actually just a middle, and longest is the actual longest lifespan. And there may be something I'm missing in between here, but I thought elongated was the best, but it's not. So So that's pretty much what we do. We breed some drones, or breed some bees. Once we breed them, we stick them in the isolator until we get their species trait and any other things we want to keep. And then I got a little furnace right there just to burn off the things I don't want. Once I get everything, then you just drop that in the little machine. So synthesize it, purify it, and then you got a good thing to do. If you don't do this purify, if they don't have this quality excellent, what'll happen is sometimes the queen will die, and your queen will disappear, or your princess, and then you're stuck. So I always use these things in the inoculator when they're on highest quality. So these are the first ones I started off with, was Imperial and Industrious, and that gives me the propolis and the pollen to make alvearies. And then I did energetic is actually what I'm using to make redstone. And then these are just some random ones we did. There's a whole bunch of different ones. These are hive bees, and then common, cultivated, whatever. You see they're all there. And then I got some more that I've been breeding. So I bred radioactive, and we got supernatural and arcane, and I have a whole bunch. So I had iron before, and I got all these gold, copper, tin, etc. And then I got all these different species here, relic, and I got some emerald, sapphire, diamond. And then I bred the Stark bee. So let's look to. Wow, see, there's a lot of bees in here now. So the radioactive bees, they produce this radioactive comb, which I can use to get uranium. And I use the uranium for breeding more bees. That's why I bred up some of those. And then there's primeval, prehistoric, and relic, which has the longest lifespan. So that's why I got the relic bees. And then there's some other ones we just grabbed traits from. And I'm pretty much just putting the best traits on everything. But we have some bees that don't have the max traits already. And so I have everything for those. If we look in our Thaumonomicon, and we go over to bees, which, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I've pretty much researched everything in the Thaumonomicon, and it was very boring. So I may have mentioned that on camera, but I didn't actually show a whole lot on camera. We haven't really used them much. Apparently these frames aren't as cool as, like, it costs too much to make it cost efficient, to make it productivity. But there's a bunch of stuff we researched, and where's our bees? Alright, someone sent me a message. Thaumic bees. So there's a couple bees we want to make. We want to use a Stark drone, and apparently you don't breed these bees. The Thaumic bees go in Thaumcraft, and so you combine the Stark with the air shard, and you get this Aura drone. And the other one that we want to do, I think that's the same, Aura Princess. Yeah. Is it really going to be one of each? Yes. So it shows me how to make a drone and a princess. How redundant. Anyway. And then we also want to make one of these Solum drones with the Earth Shard and some stuff in here. So let's go ahead and whip those out. Let's grab our water bucket. And no, I haven't put a little guy over here to do my water yet. Sorry. So that should be half of those and half of those. And gosh, I hope I have everything for this. Aura drone. Alright. This is going to create some crazy flux, and we'll do the same for this guy. Oh, why are you sitting in there? Oh, because you're not boiling. Huh. Alright, and an Aura Princess. And the Stark Princess needs half of those, and half of those. And then we go Stark Princess with an Earth Shard, and we get Solum. And we'll do the same for the drone. Dump a little water, wait for it to boil. And I know I said I wouldn't go crazy with the flux around here, but really with and this actual recipe here with the stone and the dirt doesn't actually create extra stuff, so the only flux I get is from the ore changing. Oh, and it's getting night too. I probably caused so much trouble by doing this. Let's put you back. And we don't need the Thaumonomicon anymore. But let's take a look at these bees. So, I'm not even sure why I wanted these. There's a couple cool things. So this has speed fastest. and this is the Aura Princess, an Aura drone. So I'm going to breed a couple of these up, and then they're going to have fastest speed and max pollination. And I grabbed magic flowers from the Stark bees already, and then we'll use this swiftness effect too. And these did not keep any of the traits from the bee that I made them from, but that's fine. And then the Solemn Princess, fastest pollination. So I think that's what we actually want. And then they have this mining effect, which is pretty cool. So I think we wanted the fastest pollination from here. And from this one we wanted, oh, that's what we wanted, fastest speed and this area, this 15 by 13 by 15. So we're going to use these guys for their traits. And they have good effects, right? Swiftness and mining. Yeah, we're going to have to throw some more stuff on here to get these guys going though, because they don't have any fertility. So we're going to have to shoot them up with fertility drugs, which is easy enough to do. And let's take a look at, we had a little experiment over here. This thing actually works out quite well. I just grabbed the lily pads. This is a tropical drone, and I'm using it to get the silk wisps, but I put the lily pad flower pollination on here, and it produces extra lily pads. And there's usually a ton up here, but I did just cut them down. And then over here we had, before, we had the little Thaumcraft guys, the little straw golem and the wood golem, and they disappeared on me. Apparently there's a bug where they fall through the world when the world loads sometimes. So I kind of moved them, and I got another bee over here. This is a gold bee, but one of the things I tried, and this doesn't actually work, but just so you know, I put flowers wheat on this gold bee, and I wanted to see if maybe wheat would grow. So you can see how I have this farmland and all the Silicornium soil, but just have, because his flower is wheat, it doesn't produce more wheat. And this one's way over here because I have an auto harvester to harvest the wheat, the harvester from the Mine Factory Reloaded, and it harvests wheat, but there's no wheat that grows from this. So the wheat effect, or the wheat flower effect on a bee, does not actually make more wheat grow. And I imagine the same would be with the end flower, and we'll have to try some of the other ones out, like netherwort, and see what those do though, because that'd be kind of cool if you could get it to grow, you know, like if it was mushroom pollination and you got it to grow extra mushrooms. That'd be kind of neat, I think. One of the things I need to do, you can see I've only got 4 of these apiaries left, and I'm only using 2. Yeah, I got a second radioactive. There's one in an alveary over there, and I got 8 of these alvearies, which is huge. So there's actually a couple things I want to do. One thing I need to do is I need to redesign my little bee assembly line. I need to clean this up and get it going for faster production, because I have, right now, I have 1 centrifuge, and even with the little thing on top there, why can't I think of the name? I don't know. But even with this up here, it does not, sometimes it overflows, and then what happens is the combs will actually just bypass. And the way this system's set up now, the bypass will actually just put stuff into my regular sorting system. And then we got our copper and our tin going over here. I put the gold bee in. There's iron too. The gold actually gets processed over in that assembly line. But we want to make something more like that, more productive, and able to handle more stuff. So I'm going to have to redesign this, which we'll do. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I expanded all the tanks. So these are all 9x9 tanks. The iron tanks, we got lava over there, we got liquid DNA. This one's honey, and this one over here is seed oil. And then we also have this one over here, which is fuel. And we're not really using the fuel yet, but we're kind of filling it up. So it's kind of cool. We have like 1 oily bee, and he produces oily combs, and that produces oil, and we turn it into fuel. I think we are done with the episode, and I got more wisps. Oh yeah, I definitely did some Thaumcraft badness. I can tell when they come up here. That's definitely Thaumcraft badness. In the meantime, we are going to check on out. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody who likes and subscribes. And sorry I haven't been putting out videos sooner. It is in the middle of summer. We'll be doing some summer stuff. I took a trip to Idaho. Ooh, very exciting. And did some things. I went clubbing last weekend. Ooh. But yeah, I'm gonna try to put out some more videos. Definitely when the weather starts cooling down and spend more time indoors, I'll put out some more videos. We'll get some more vanilla. We'll get some more of this Feed the Beast stuff, which is always fun. And maybe we'll check out some other games or some other mod packs or something like that. I noticed there's a couple 151 mod packs, so maybe we'll get into that. I was looking at maybe Direwolf 20. I'm not sure yet. We'll figure something out. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody who likes and subscribes. Hope you guys are all having fun, and we will catch you later.